What is Gucci YouTube? It's your boy Black Shot 3 Long Face Skinny Body, and we are back, still back with some more fire Boruto manga related content. Now, before we get into the video, you already know the deal. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button, share the video with your friends, and let's get to the business. Yes, Sirski.
9 mountains and 8 seas make one world. 1,000 worlds make one chiliocosm. One chiliocosm to the power of 3, and there's nothing I can't cut.
All right, so Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 24 lived up to the hype, lived up to the expectations. Kawaki fans are in a frenzy. Everything is going crazy, and it was a much needed chapter. Very unexpected slash expected chapter. A lot to talk about, a lot to break down in regards to Boruto's actions, Kawaki's actions, and everything surrounding Kashinkoji's power. So we open up the chapter with the conversation back from chapter 15, right? When Boruto escaped from the village. And initially, they're showing us the last ending, I guess you can say, part of the conversation that we didn't initially see, quote unquote, off screen part of the conversation between both Boruto and Kawaki. And it comes to find out this all went according to Boruto's plan. Kind of, right? Because we see throughout the flashback, according to Boruto, he informs Kawaki, yo, after you get your limiters removed, immediately go to the Hidden Sand Village and assist Sarada and the others. And in his mind, depending on who would be there, whether it be Ryu or Matsuri or both, right, Kawaki would go and lend a hand and assist them in defeating both of the Shinjus, and then Boruto would time his arrival. According to that, obviously that's not how things went, right? Shout out to the Queen Big Uchiha Vibe Sarada. And Kawaki showed up late. Boruto was forced to show up on the battlefield early in order to save my guy Konohamaru's life and take care of Matsuri one and done. And then we see that the path that it eventually led us on now. So everything is going down in this flashback, and both Boruto and Kawaki confirm, like, yeah, this dude Jura, bro, he ain't no joke, man. I don't even know, even if I'm out, will do some little tinkering and twinkling, bro. You feel me? I don't know if I can still come out on top. Pause. And Boruto's like, bro, that's not even a plan. We ain't trying to beat the guy. And then they keep on letting us know, and I like how Ikimoto is doing this, we can't beat Jura just yet. Emphasis on yet, right? So it's possibility. It's out there. It's not completely out the window. But right now, if we're talking about right now getting the job done, yeah, let's just get that out of our head, my guy. But the whole entire idea is to get enough time, right? So Boruto can lock onto a chakra signature that's far enough away to where he can teleport away from the battlefield, essentially ensuring that everybody on the battlefield is safe, and also all of the soul thorn bulbs are accounted for and acquired. Now, as to words like what's happening with Araya and Yodo and the whole thing with Shinki, no word on that. Hopefully we're going to see like some type of follow-up in the upcoming chapters in terms of how Araya ended up where the Boruto helped him out off screen, or what I'm saying, if he even managed to get the soul thorn to Shinki. I'm trying to see my guy Shinki pop back up and pull some of the moves that my guy Ryu was pulling out, right? You feel me? But at the end of the day, we see the plan, and then the chapter kicks off, right? Kawaki versus Jura. And I'll give y'all this. It's a very, very amazing fight. It's at this point, I don't know, man. I don't know, because what I did was I started to read the chapter, then I went back and then I read through 22, 23, and then 24 all at once just to get a feel of how the fight actually flowed. And if we're gonna keep it a buck chat, Kawaki fared much better, than Boruto did against Jura. Now, obviously, we understand the whole entire limitations with Boruto and his karma seal, but just considering everything that both characters have in their arsenal, have at their disposal right now, it's pretty obvious that Kawaki is stronger. At the very least, you have to accept the fact that Kawaki's attack has more potency and does more damage to Jura, right? Because Boruto's hitting him with the Rasengan, he's hitting with the Uzuhiko, and Jura's not really taking any damage. He negated the effects of the Uzuhiko, so that aside, he's not really taking any damage from like Boruto's Rasengans. Now, why isn't Boruto doing a big ball Rasengan? I don't know, but Boruto, we see he has precision and accuracy with his sword, managing to cut off one of Jura's limb. But Kawaki, he's doing chakra blast through his chakra rods, blasting this guy's abdomen and his stomach to pieces. He's out here stabbing him through the face, through the arms. He's out here claw marking, slapping him across the battlefield. Kawaki is actually putting in work. And the more I look at it, the more I realize, damn, Jura didn't even land a hit off on Kawaki. And then it also led me to believe if Ikimoto is actually gonna run with this whole entire like glass cannon idea with Kawaki, where he got all this offensive power, but we know that initially Amato made him near immortal with defensive capabilities maxed out, and we saw even with that type of defense, Boruto had him on the ground with one hit, and Jura had him knocked out TKO with two. Simple as that. And we understand if there's going to be some type of reverse in those mechanics with Amato unlimiting Kawaki's power, how is he going to fare in a battlefield with these stronger opponents and possibly even stronger opponents in the future if his defensive is lowered, understanding how he already fared with his defensive at max capacity and still getting damn near knocked out by minimum hits, right? So Jura didn't land a hit on Kawaki, so we can't get our answer there, but it is a leadway to just basically saying Kawaki is a glass cannon. So essentially to win the fight, you got to just get one good clean hit on him. But even with that, it's mad hard to get that off because he's doing all of these things. He's shrinking, he's summoning the chocolate cubes, and Jura's out here destroying the cubes with one eye. He's doing all of this on one leg and one Rinnegan, and Boruto's trying to keep the peace and keep calm out there in the sky. He's telling himself to calm down. And the fight is actually picking up. And all I could think while I'm reading this chapter is, yo, I haven't said this in a while too, though. When the anime come back, bro, it's about to be crazy. This is gonna be some of the moments. This is one of the moments, high key, that I'm extremely looking forward. Aside from Mangekyo Sharingan Sarada, like I'm really trying to see how this Jura fight pans out. And of course, Jura versus Himawari, because within the manga context, that was definitely up there in terms of my favorite fight, possibly still. Jura versus Boruto, and now Jura versus Kawaki. I have to do some reminiscing. I have to let it sit and marinate for a little bit, and then I'll come back to y'all with the for sure rankings in my mind. But hands down, a 10 out of 10 chapter, 10 out of 10 fight. Kawaki done showed y'all, yeah, he got the sauce. I ain't finna hate on him, man, when he's out here, stepping type of real crazy throughout this chapter, right? So a lot of important things also occurred, aside from the flashback, aside from the amazing fights and the comparison between both Boruto and Kawaki and how they fared. Jura has come to terms and officially confirmed that Naruto is alive. Now, I like this because I get the feel that we're shifting back. Like, we were turning dynamics, and it kind of makes sense once we understand how Kashin powers work, how the future can be affected, and things can suddenly change. So when it suddenly seems like we got a sudden plot shift or a shift of focus, it kind of ties into the idea that the future is constantly changing, as Ada tried to say, and Kashin confirmed towards the end of this chapter, right? But now we're seeing a shift of focus, right? Because Jura is back on his original game plan. He's like, nah, bro. I know this might rub you the wrong way, Kawaki, but I'm trying to devour Naruto, right? And we see it all over Kawaki's face. Naruto is alive. Amato and Sumire are peeking in on the conversation through Kawaki's eyes, and they're hearing all this. Sumire is shocked to hear that what Sarada did. And mind you, Jura, according to Jura, effortlessly took down one of his own kin. So it wasn't even a sweat. It wasn't even a problem for Sarada, right? But Sumere's shocked. They're watching everything go down. And of course, she's jumping to conclusions. Kawaki's faring well. Jura's on his bosoms right now. He's just chatting it up. He's doing the same thing he did to Boruto. Like, what's love? Basically, tell me how you feel about it, Kawaki, right? And Amato shut it down quick. Nah, like, pay attention, right? So Jura's going on and on about all of these things prior to him revealing that Naruto is still alive to everyone. He's like, yo, what do you think about love, right? Sarada's powering up, you suddenly powering up, you coming to Boruto rescue, Himawari powering up. Like, tell me, how is this all connected? And I think it might have to do with love. And Kawaki's answer is a typical Kawaki answer that you would get. He was like, you're a pest, bro. And gave him the biggest Garo blast that you've ever seen in your life, right? So the field is everywhere. The debris is everywhere, and we see where Jura starts to heal. He's creating himself the throne, and he's just sitting there really aura farming for the rest of the chapter, despite Kawaki having his moments throughout this fight. And it just lets us know that, dang, he can definitely take it up another notch. He can definitely up it a few tiers. So it's something we're going to have to expound upon in future videos and topics and discussions. But just for now's sake, like, it lets us know, like, Jura still had some left in the tank. And in the meantime, all this happening, Boruto locked onto the chakra signature. So even if he decides to make a move, right, they can just zip on out of there, boom, take a little bit of minute, boom, and find another chakra signature to get on out of there. So Jura already knew it was no point at this point if Boruto was already ready to use the flying rising jutsu, right? So he's just chopping it up. He's like, yeah, I know Naruto's alive. Thank you for confirming it. You're a bad liar. I'm a bad liar. Why don't we just throw a party? You feel me? And all this is going down, and Boruto's like, yo, let's just dip. And then we get the infamous, panel that everybody, I thought it was fake, when Kawaki's flipping off Jura after Kawaki's like, yeah, you got some good intuition, my guy, give you that. But hey, In the future, it's gonna be game time, bang time, and you know what I'm saying, I'm just gonna be off with the dome with you, and I'm gonna be the one responsible, right? So he gives them the bird, they dip, and of course, I finally agree with those who be like the writers hate Konohamaru. They think it's I think that they think it's funny, but he lands Kawaki just lands right on Konohamaru's dome as Delta is explaining to the man. Make some space. Boruto is gonna pop up anywhere, and you could just get stepped on. And as she says, he could get stepped on. He gets stepped on, right? And he falls to the ground. But we got the confirmation. The Soul Thornborn was attacked, and I'm trying to see how y'all feel, right? Because Boruto is about to head back to the village with everybody else. How are they gonna go about this? Is Boruto gonna just get close enough and let them rendezvous and then like go back and rendezvous with Kashin Koji? Like is Sarada gonna try to prevent Boruto? Is Kawaki gonna go in there and be like, hey, we're working with Boruto for now? How is the elders? Like I'm trying to see. So I definitely have some thoughts on that. I'm trying to ask y'all how y'all feel about that. Let me know in that comment section below. And we're definitely gonna talk about that in the future. But Ada's out here like, yo, everything's all Gucci. It was a sweaty moment, right? It was a nice sweat, but everything turned out well. And Kashikoji's like, shorty, don't be confused. Boruto just changed a lot, and within those changes, Mamushi is now on the move right now, and his target is you. And she's like, what? There's no way, Jose. You know, and I ain't even tripping. Ada, don't trip, shorty. Why? Because we got Damon. And of course, you already know what Damon's gonna do. He's gonna come in and make light work of the crew. It's about to be real crazy. And I like how he ended off these last few moments with some great climactic moments, new storyline openings, but also comedic moments with Konohamaru stuff. And then even with Jura and Hidari at the end. Jura's out here feeling in a good mood. He just had two great fights of his life. You know what I'm saying? Kawaki done gave him a compliment, and then Hidari just ruined it by saying, bro, whatever you got going on right now is just disgusting. You know what I'm saying? One of his freshly learned new words, and it ruined Joe's mood. So I don't know. We opening up a new volume next chapter. I guess you could say it was anticlimactic, but still so many moments to be hyped about at the same time. Of course, for me, it was a great chapter. I don't find anything that I have at fault with the chapter. So in that regard, it's a 10 out of 10. Is it my favorite? No, but definitely a 10 out of 10 chapter. Kawaki showed out, so y'all fans better take it in while you can, right? But at the end of the day, it's a lot to look forward to, and it's a lot to talk about. It's your boy Black and Chiapi. Let me know how y'all feel about the chapter, and how do y'all think things are about to go down back at the village? Like, let me know for real. And until my next video, I'ma holla at y'all. Black and Chiapi out, yes sir.